Hello there, and welcome back to Distance Bonds as we continue to explore the intricacies of maintaining love across borders. My name is Liz Macau, and as you can see, I am joined by my co host, who is my husband. And today we have a special guest, Ashley, who is going to be sharing insights and experiences about life in general in America, and mostly because she moved, her family moved to the United States when she was 2 years old, and we saw it good having a conversation with her so she can at least shed light on the school life over here and life in general and some of the experiences she has being in school from kindergarten to high school. She just graduated a month ago, and we saw it good having her over to share all that with us. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome Ashley so she can introduce herself and share a little bit of family background. Welcome to the show, Ashley.
Thank you so much. So, hi guys. As was explained, I'm Ashley Macharia. So I did just recently graduate high school, and I'm on my way to the University of Houston to get my pre-med in pre-nursing.
Wow.
I just want to let y'all know I did come here in 2009, so I was like 3 years old.
Mhm.
My family decided to move us to America because they wanted to further their career in their healthcare pathway, and that they thought it would be a good opportunity for me and my brother to further our career. A little bit about kindergarten. You want me to start there, or
Yes,
do you let me?
yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
from
yeah,
kindergarten.
so in America we do have the kindergarten through 12th grade school life. So we have our public schools, and we also do have private schools you can attend. So our public schools are funded by the government taxes. I know in Kenya that it's a little bit different.
It's different, yeah.
So we have those are funded by government taxes, and in here you are required to go to school. Your parents can actually go to jail if they don't take you to school, so it is a very big thing.
Oh, yes.
Here,
Yeah.
yes. So not everybody has to go to preschool, though. That is an optional thing. That is just an entryway into kindergarten.
Yeah.
I did when we moved here. I was, like I said, 3 years old, so I didn't start school until I was about 5, and I didn't go to preschool. I went to fifth kindergarten, and we actually lived with a host family. So before I even started kindergarten, we had lived with the host family who was very kind enough to give us a car, a home to stay with
Wow.
them.
Mhm.
And they kind of gave us the entryway into American life. So we didn't come here totally blindsided, even though none of our family was here. I do know it would be scary kind of coming into America, not really having anybody know
Anybody,
or a
yes.
community. But like most people do know, Austin is a very big community with Kenyans.
Mhm.
But there also are very nice people who will be willing to give you a home to stay and to start up, because it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, as you try to figure out life.
Trying to figure out life.
Mhm.
And so I started in kindergarten, and my first language was Kiswahili, but I obviously that kind of faded off, and I had to learn English. And my mom told the whole church on my graduation day. I learned through books, and that's why I got my love for books now. I would constantly find myself trying to read to try and speak and kind of sound like how I saw other kids sounding. But it did give me a love for books, and that's why I feel education is so important to me, because it's actually a gateway into my social life, my everyday life. So so I had kindergarten, and then we moved from Bastrop to Pflugerville.
Okay.
When I was in 4th grade. So that was a big move because that allowed us to get our first home, and that was here in Pflugerville. And so that was different because kids, especially in my generation, they're not always the nicest. They're not always the sweetest. And one thing that I will know that is very different from Kenya, because even though I spent a short time there, we go back, we visit for months at times, so you can kind of see the lifestyle. You do kind of face systematic racism, and I know that's a topic, a kind of a sensitive topic for people to talk about, but I think it's very important because it's something that you should embrace almost, because it is going to be part of your everyday life. Not for everybody, some more harsh than others, but it is something that you just have to kind of put aside and learn to just, get besides that. So I did experience a little bit of that, but it was nothing that belittled me. My parents were always there. When they had to go in their own healthcare pathways, they had to face that too, because it goes through all ages. It's not
all ages.
It's not going to happen just in high school, just in middle school. It's going to happen through all ages, and sometimes you may not experience that, and that's a blessing for you. But when you do, just don't let it belittle you. It's something that might happen, may not happen. But luckily, knowing me, I'm very social. I'm a social butterfly. And that kind of helped me, because I know if my brother was a little bit different. He finds it harder to be best friends or find friends as easily, which is totally fine because he has his little friend. But me, I just love making friends. I make friends with everybody. I think it's super important because those connections can last lifetimes.
Oh yeah.
And so when I came to fourth grade, that's when I started really coming out of my bubble. I hated being late to school. One thing when I first my mom, one day I was late, I cried, I didn't want to go to class, and I threw a big fit because I hated being late to school. I mean, obviously high school that kind of changes, but I hated being late. I loved to kind of ask questions. I asked a lot of questions, and sometimes I got made fun of it, but it helped me a lot because now I have so much knowledge that some people may not have because they didn't ask those questions. So one thing is very important: start asking questions. Make as many friends as you can. Even if you feel like you're a little bit on the shyer side and you don't want to make too many friends, at least have one good friend. It's always good to make friends with people, and people can be super nice, even though you have those people who are a little bit more on the different side, and so then fourth grade, fifth grade, I went through the elementary school. That was probably, I gained most of my friends there. I came to high school, and for me, high school was a little bit easier than for others, just because I am so good at making friends and being social. I made a lot of friends. I joined groups. I joined clubs. I involved myself, which I say is very, very important. Don't come into whatever grade you do come into, because we have our kindergarten, and then we have, we have elementary school, which is kindergarten through fifth grade, and then we have middle school, which is sixth grade to eighth grade, and then you have high school, which is ninth grade to 12th grade. Okay. So I definitely involved myself the most in my high school years, because compared to Kenya, we have a lot of extracurriculars that they do, and electives that they do offer for you. So that is something I definitely would involve myself in, because being in a high school and being able to do an elective called CCMA and practicum allowed me to get my medical assistant in high school, which is something that some people kind of pay for outside of high school. So that's something very important to me that I took with me. But yeah, I would say I involved myself a lot. I did athletic training for 4 years, which is sports medicine. And that kind of is just helping athletes. I try to do anything that could help me with my pathways. I did that CCMA course, like I said. I joined HOSA, which is a health organization club, which is world renowned. They have it at almost every school in Texas. And that I became an officer for that and a leader for that, which gained open doors for me to meeting new people, not just children like me, but like adults who can help you with your careers. I joined a lot of other clubs. It's just good to be involved. But
Absolutely.
That was pretty much my school experience here. I would say a little bit of insight. I know in Kenya, discipline is very different in schools. So here, like, the discipline is just like you get sent to the principal's office. You may get written up here and there. I stayed out of trouble personally, but just for something to look forward to. It's not as harsh. It's not harsh, but it's not as different as in Kenya. I know that the discipline is a little bit different. And every day I did come. I know people do boarding schools in Kenya.
Yes.
So I got to come home every single day I went to school. So I woke up in the morning, my parents would take me or like however it worked, and then I would come back home that night or that day. So.
And that is from kindergarten to high school?
That was from kindergarten to high school. I came home every day. They do offer boarding schools here. It's just you're paying it out of, which I know you probably pay in. Do they pay in Kenya? Or is that
Yes,
so
they do.
You pay. We pay for do that. But so I'd come home every day, which is honestly I was very fortunate to have. But I know when you need to go to college, you're staying there. You're staying in that dorm, and
You mentioned that you didn't like getting to school late.
Oh, I hated it.
Yeah. In Kenya, that was punishable.
Yeah.
Were you being punished here?
So
in case you get to school late?
It was really just like kind of your own punishment. It was like on you, like you missed this part of class, so it's like, okay,
no
now
one is gonna follow up.
No one's gonna follow up with you. The thing about teachers here is, I don't know if it's different because then again, I never got to experience school life in Kenya. Is the teachers are kind of getting paid regardless. If you learn, if you don't learn, if you
they're still gonna get paid.
They're still gonna get paid. And it gets even worse, sadly, in college. Is like there's regardless, that's why you have to involve yourself, especially not just with like kids like you, like I said, with the teachers. If you make yourself like, oh, look, it's Ashley. She's always sitting in the front of the room, always asking questions. And then, like, let's say you get like a B on a test, they'll be more kind to you. They'll be more like, oh, okay, this is not like how you normally do. Is there anything I can do to help you? So you being late doesn't make the best impression. Obviously, there's things like tardies and like you get tardy slips or tardy things, which can ultimately be led to like more punishable offenses, that's not until high school, and that's more of just like a little slap on the wrist. It's not like you're actually getting, into some big trouble. So it's more of just on you and your discipline for yourself.
So none of the punishments affect your GPA or anything like that?
No. So like when it comes to GPA, yeah, like I said, GPA is all on you. The punishments that you do, like let's say, okay, now if you do something really, really bad and you're like, you have to go to like OC, which is a alternative school for those who really get in big trouble and you have to leave your current school. That obviously going to affect your GPA because you're not able to catch up on the work you're doing. Other than that, tardy slips, getting in trouble, it doesn't really affect your GPA. Your learning ability is pretty much on you at that point.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm gonna take you a little bit backwards. Just to pretty much some of your earliest life. What are some of the earliest memories of Kenya? How did your parents present to you like Kenya? What are some of the things you can remember growing up? Yeah.
So like I said, we did go back a lot like earlier in the years, and we did get to spend those long months there. But like from what I remember being Kenya early, it was family, and which is something I miss so much. Moving to America is like Christmases are not the same.
Correct.
Thanksgivings are not the same. Yep. You don't get to be like, oh, I'm going to go hang out with my cousins really quick and I'll be back. And it was also just a lot more trust with my parents. They were like, oh, okay, we know where you're going, so you can just go ahead and leave. Go walk down the street to your cousin's house. Here it's different. You can't just be like, I'm leaving. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Parents, they're going to ask questions. They're going to want to know where you are, who you're with, because you're more comfortable. They're more comfortable. They know where everything is. They know who the people are. And it was just a lot of family time. I remember we were always outside. Always running from animals, always finding new things. Food was great. Show's food was great. And it was a lot. It was a lot more just like freedom fun. It was like kid fun. It was just a lot more of that. And I honestly really do miss it. And it was, that's what I remember.
Yeah. And can you recall, of course, your parents upbringing you here in a different country from Kenya? So were there times that your parents would sit you down and just, show you that, like moral wise, there are some morals that you are supposed to abide with?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. My parents, they've always taught me, first off, manners. Manners are important. How you present yourself to the outside world is very, very important, because sadly people will go off of how you act reflects your whole family, reflects who you are as a person. So my parents always taught me it's very important to be kind to everybody, regardless if they're hating on you, if they're mean towards you. You show them kindness over and over again, so they can never have a real reason to hate you. You get what I mean? And you never want to give people a reason to do that either. And they sat me down, they told me the basics, obviously all my manners, all of that. And they also told me just like that it's always okay to come to them for things like that, and for things if we're having trouble, if I'm having trouble with anything, even if it doesn't have anything to do with what they really understand, because then again, they didn't grow up in the school system that I have too. They always were open to listen, to understand, and that was really important. But it's really good to have those sit downs about those morals and those things, because America is very different. And so they were never shy from that. They always did do that for all of us.
That's interesting, because growing up in Kenya, or in Africa just in general, we grew up knowing that our parents know everything, and you are not given a room to say nothing. And you mentioning that your parents gave you that chance to say whatever, because honestly, we can see even through the whatever is happening in Kenya right now, the Gen Zs are helping people open their eyes, and they are being given that space, a platform to express themselves. Something that never used to happen during our times. Like, you're not supposed to say nothing.
You never question your parents.
You never question your parents, your teachers, even in school. Even if they are wrong, you're not supposed to question them. I remember one day, in our 8th grade, we got punished because our head teacher just came in class and lied us about something, and I am calling it lie because everyone could see that's a lie. And we were all like, oh no, that cannot happen. And then he was like, who told you teachers lie? So we all got
teachers are always right.
Teachers are always right. As long as they are teachers, they're always right. So we got punished because of that. So, and I feel like as a teenager or as a young person, being given that space to express yourself really helps a lot in your learning. And there's so many things that you might know that I do not know, and I would love to learn from you. So that's very important.
Yeah, question for you, Ash. So again, I'm gonna go back.
No, yeah.
No, I'm just curious. Because I mean, of course, in the house, your parents are African, your parents are Kenyan, right? So inside the household, they're gonna try and raise you guys in the African, African way, right? But at the same time, you came here when you were younger, and you're trying to grow in America, American culture versus the Kenyan culture. Did you ever experience like an identity crisis, or did you try just to follow one way, the Kenyan way, or the American way?
Yeah.
How did you navigate that?
So there was definitely multiple identity crises, because obviously when my friends would come over to my house, it would be a different lifestyle than when I would go over to their house, and I would constantly find myself comparing and asking my parents like, oh, but they do this and not we do this, and they get to eat this food, we eat this food every day. And it's like, it's something you have to find in yourself and not to pressure yourself. Take the time to go through that, because it's important. It's very, very important. Because if I had not gone through that, I don't know where I would be. Now I've come to accept that it's okay to have two different lifestyles.
Exactly.
It's just about finding the balance between the two and being able to embrace both. Because yes, I am an African in America, but that does not mean I'm not connected to my African society. And that is why I'm so grateful to have an African church. And I continue to bring my friends there and involve them, because they're willing to know, they're willing to learn, just like you're willing to constantly know about their different lifestyles. So there was definitely identity crises, but I'm more than grateful for all of them. Yeah.
Nice. There's something, as you mentioned, actually, like I was so curious to know how you choose your friends, because like we've met some of your friends, and honestly most of them are like church goers. They're more like Christian friends.
They are.
And coming from like a school that is diverse, some people are Christians, some people are not, some people go to church, some people are deep into religion, some are not. How do you do you vet them? How do you get to to get closer to these friends who actually know God? And
so it's as much as intentionally I want to get close to people who are like followers of God, because that's only going to strengthen my connection with God. It doesn't always happen. Like, I have close friends who believe in a whole different thing, and I know sometimes we can get into like differences, and that's when you just have to figure out who's like a school friend, who's someone that you can hang out with outside of school, and who's someone you can bring to home. So the way you find those friends is just finding out what you have in common, but you don't have to have everything in common with your friends, but what's going to be argumentative, what's going to cause problems, what's going to be like kind of wants you guys to, not to show hate, but you're going to start having little bits of dislikes from them. So when I just found friends who believed in Christ, who wanted the same goals as me, that's when I felt driven and wanted to get closer with them. And likewise, they wanted to do the same with me. But I definitely have friends who don't believe in the same things as me. That doesn't mean I put them off. It's just they're not someone I carry outside of school. There's someone I keep in school who we can study together, we can hang out with, like school related, but we can't just be at the same home, and like, because then it's going to feel like a pressure to believe in what they believe in. Like, if I go to their home and they're not praying before they eat, or if they're watching something that doesn't really apply to me, it's going to feel like almost like a pressure. And I like to invite my friends to church. I like to invite my friends into my community. And so I never want to feel like they're pressured into doing that. So I always have friends around me who believe in the same kind of things. And definitely make school friends. I'm not saying it doesn't matter what they believe in, but kind of don't put them off just because of what they believe in, because they could be really good friends for you at school, you know?
Yeah, I gotta commend you just for being open-minded and knowing how to categorize them. They're all your friends, but you know like where to put them. It's such a hard thing to do, and when you master that, you can gain so much from it, because you're getting like the best of both worlds, you know what I mean? Like, this one's helped me with this kind of stuff, and this one's kind of like strengthened me in this kind of way. So I gotta commend you just for having that ability to categorize them. Yes, for sure.
Wow.
I think you and your brother honestly like have good heads on your shoulders. For sure.
That is someone I look up to completely. My brother has a great head on his shoulders.
I'm a huge fan of your brother. He knows I stand for him. And I think your parents have done such an incredible job of laying that foundation for you guys. Just another question that when you mentioned about like let's say like talking about them friends about church and stuff like that. In school, of course, again, there's different cultures and different religions, stuff like that. In Kenya, back when we were like growing up and when we went to schools, also we had like different cultures. Also, we had some Muslim in school, we had some Indians in the school and stuff. And funny enough that when we were going through the studies, they were not like, we were taught pretty much the same thing. Even the Muslims, they were talking about the Christians and the Christians. So basically, there was no like any like a separation. Is it the same way in schools here?
Definitely. So at our schools, obviously, you have a whole bunch of different kind of religions, and it's honestly it's growing every day. People are finding new things that they want to believe in because they're separating themselves from like kind of what their family talk. That's one thing about Gen Z. We're very, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I know that a lot of us have found our voices. And like you had said, I'm not trying to go away from your topic, but like you had said, y'all were taught not to speak on things you found wrong with teachers. But in our kind of era, we're taught to completely go against that. If you believe in something, you're supposed to speak up. And it's found in a good and bad way, as we found to kind of take advantage of it in a bad way, but also take advantage of it in our good ways, and that just differs from everybody. But back to the religion topic, so everybody kind of believes in their own thing. In our schools, where they're not allowed, teachers are not allowed to speak on religion, politics, anything that has influence over our lives. When we have like moments, so in Texas, I don't know, I think it's everywhere, we have like a Pledge of Allegiance. And just recently you were allowed not to say it. So you were like kind of in kindergarten, it's the first thing you learn is the Pledge of Allegiance. And some people, now that Gen Z has found a voice, we've been able to be like, oh, I don't want to pledge my allegiance to a country, or pledge my allegiance to this, or pledge my allegiance to that. So you were taught to pledge your allegiance, and then you would say a prayer at the moment of silence. So just now people were able to kind of, if they didn't believe in that, or if they didn't believe in God or whatever they did believe in, they're able to kind of sit back and not have to say it. So we definitely have a whole bunch of different religions, but nobody really kind of like is like, oh, my religion is better than yours, or in class it's not like a big topic. It's kind of just like we all get along, but everybody knows kind of what you're, because they're obviously it's represented. But
And how did you find yourself, you're not allowed to talk about it in school? So how did you like find yourself just navigating having not to talk about it, because it's something that's in you, like
so it's really just it's kind of like they encourage you to not speak on religion with like other students, but it's more so for the teachers to not feel like they're to force it on students. So we were able to kind of like it gets better in college because they actually have like colleges for Christians, or they have college groups of Bible studies and stuff. But in high school, they kind of like, so middle school, elementary school, it's like, okay, religion's not a topic people talk about. But when you get to high school, it's like you can't really stop students from doing conversations, So it's like, as long as you're not forcing it on people, as long as you're not making people feel bad about what they do in their everyday lives, I feel like it's not looked down upon to speak on, but it's just more the teachers cannot speak on their own feelings about anything that has to do with themselves, because then as teachers you're teaching us. So when you speak on your own beliefs, it's like they're teaching us to do that kind of.
Wow. Well, I know you talked about the school structure, from kindergarten, elementary, there's middle school and all that. So can you take us a little bit back through that, the structure, and like at what age did you join kindergarten?
So I know that you guys have what? You have primary school, and then you have the high school, the Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. So in kindergarten you start at 5 years old, and then you go to first grade, and that's around like
maybe 6, 7.
And then it's kind of like it's every year that you get older, it's basically a new school year. So we go to school every year, and we have our summer off for 3 months. And then we have our winter break, which is 2 weeks. We have our fall break, which is a week, and then we have spring break, which is another week. So one thing that actually did start adding, which it can be controversial in our school year, is they add like a mental health kind of days in our high school year, and it was like 4 days off. And obviously my parents were like, what are you talking about? Like, what is 4 days off?
System
they were like, this is what is this? Like a random 4 days off. So that was just like, I'm not complaining, but it was something that they just kind of threw in there. it would be like 4 weeks off. Right? It was really new. And I was like, okay, like I see where they're coming from though, because it is very important. Mental health is a very important thing,
for sure,
especially in high school. That's when you kind of find your identity. Correct. And it's like that's something I'm glad that they're adding that. You know? Some people may need it more than others. Some people like me, I kind of just took it and ran with it. But yeah, so we had first grade, second grade, third grade, and then obviously fifth grade. And the ages just go as you get older, older. Yeah. Some people are able to graduate at 17. Some people graduate at 18.
Depending on your birth date, right?
And then also you can graduate earlier if you decide to. Like my friend, I know she graduated while she was 16, 15, that kind of age.
From high school.
From high school, yes. So it's just about kind of where you're at. I know that when I was in kindergarten, I was moving ahead, so they wanted to move me up a year, and then my parents were like, no, just let her stay with her classmates, and so that's what I did. But I know that you can also move up if you're knowledgeable at that age. So yeah, that was that.
Okay. I know you talked about college preparations, especially in high school. Can you please talk to us about that? Okay, like how do you do it?
So I'm not gonna lie, guys. Senior year is personally for a lot of people I know was the most stressful year for me. Senior, junior year. It's because college is not something you just like your parents can pay and you're in. You know, you have to prepare. You have to write essays. You have to, and also. There's obviously things like community college which you can get into, and even at that they might not accept you. So starting your freshman year, your GPA is fresh, so you always want to, and this is why I always tell my friends, and I wish they listened to me, because now because we had our freshman year, we had COVID-19, so we were doing everything online and nobody was taking it seriously. But me, the try hard that I am, I took it the most as serious as possible, and I started off with a good GPA. And so it's really hard to come down when you start good. So now if you're starting bad, it's going to be like fighting to get up there, because everybody's so competitive. Everybody wants to be valedictorian. Everybody wants to be top 10%. So I started off with a good GPA, and then that made it a little bit easier junior and senior year. But I wanted to fight for success, because if you're in this top 10%, you can get into college for free. You can get into the as best colleges as you want to. It's really just about trying to reach for the best, because there's always going to be someone who wants to do better. So yeah, so college preparation, I definitely have to do. There's things like FAFSA, which you have to apply for regardless of your financial situation. The school makes you apply for it, and there's standardized tests that you have to take, which determines your eligibility for college. So we have our SAT, our ACT, and our TSI test that we did have to take. You can take those between junior and senior year. And what I did to prepare for that was I joined groups at UT College in Austin. They did like preparations for the SAT, so they would teach you about it for like a week, and then you would go and you would take pre-tests and fake tests, and you continue to take those until you got the grade that you want to do. And they would be graded by people who really grade SATs, but it wasn't the real thing. So I took that extra step to kind of prepare for that test, because it is a big thing. And so then also you have to think about senior years, when prom's happening, when all the fun things are happening. It's a senior year as like a student. You want to be able to be in your social life, but you also want to be able to go to college and excel. So it's definitely, you're going to have to find that balance. And also, like me, I wanted to work, and I wanted to, have the nice things of life. So I was working about 4 days a week after school, and then I would go to school, and then I would obviously study, and then I would come to church on the weekends. And it was just like, for me, that works, but it's not for everybody. That's why you have to find your own schedule. Don't listen to what your friends are doing. Your friends are probably, or if they're like, oh, I don't like to work, or if I'm working every day this week, find what's good for you. Make that time to study, make that time to do homework, because it's not something that's just going to come to you. So yeah, definitely. College preparation was a lot. You have to be ready for it. You have to be.
When did you start working?
I started working,
at what age, that is?
I started, my first job was babysitting, and it wasn't like the little, every now and then babysitting. It was like I would babysit these kids for 5 days a week in the summer, or like they would come from this time to this time, and it wasn't like a family friend. It was somebody I was actually, babysitting, and I started that well before freshman year. And then after that, it kind of ended freshman, sophomore year, and then I started doing like tutoring. And I always found myself wanting to make a way of income, just because my parents, they are not the type to kind of be like, okay, what do you need? I'll pay for it. It's more of like they set me up to where I can always get stuff myself. So like now they don't buy me clothes and no shoes. It's all on me, and which I'm really grateful for because it has set me up to always be financially stable with my money. Because one thing in school they don't teach you, which is the most important thing, is financial. Sure. They don't teach you that. They don't teach you how to balance your money. They don't teach you how to get a job. They teach you what the government wants you to learn, which is social studies, history, that kind of thing. And so that's why I'm grateful for my parents. I was able to start doing tutoring, and then after that, I started working at Chili's from, I think, the moment I turned 16, which is like the legal age to work at that job. So the moment I turned 16, I've just been working since, and that was just like my first real job. Yeah.
Did you have any goals before you started working? Like in
terms of like what?
In terms of like if you ask some young people, they're gonna be going to work to save up for college. Yeah. So what were some of your goals when you started working?
I definitely wanted to save up for a car. That was just like that was just like I'm ready.
Okay, okay. It's just not sorry to cut you off. Just speaking about that, I saw you driving today. You mind telling people what you're driving right now?
No, that's not what So actually, the story is, let me tell you guys, this really like humbled me so much.
Okay.
So as I'm saving up for this car, I have a really bad spending problem. Like I like to get my hair done, I like to get my nails done. I like all these things, and my mom was like, "Okay, you want this?" My dad was like, "Okay, if you want this car," and there was a specific car I want, guys.
Yeah.
What was it?
I think you once mentioned
the K5 gray with interior seats, and I promise you, I'm gonna get it. But it's unrealistic for my time.
Yeah.
So the thing about me, if I'm working this hard for this money, I want the best car I can get with my money.
Yep.
I don't want to like settle for less.
Mediocre.
If I'm working for it, I might
exactly.
as well get it. So I was working for that car, and I'm spending all this money on clothes and shoes, and my parents were like, "We're not buying you extra things. They're giving me what I need, not what I want." So then it came senior year is when I was like, okay. My dad was like, okay, put down like $2,000 and then we'll go look it, because he didn't want me to go look if I wasn't gonna have
the
money. So I have the money with me, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a car, and this was like early senior year. And then we went to go look at the cars, and they were like, okay, the car that I wanted was like they were like, oh, $500 a month, $400 a month, and my parents were like, that's not a realistic car note for you. You have school, you have college, and I was being so stubborn, and I was like, I prayed to God for this car. You brought me here, and I'm not getting it. And the rudeness came out of me. And as a teenager, you have your ups and down emotions. And I was just being so rude.
Yeah.
I was at the car dealership. I was being rude to the dealership. I was being rude to my parents, my brother. I was throwing a fit at him. And I was like, okay, if I'm not getting this car, I don't want a car at all. And then they were like, okay, well, let's go look at cheaper cars. And I was like, no, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to get. And so then they were like, okay, we're not getting it today. I went home. I cried. I threw my fit. And then I just prayed. And I was like, if this is not the time for me, then let it be in your timing. That's one thing you do have to do. You have to make it on God's timing.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And so my parents decided to talk to them, and they were like, okay, let's be realistic. You're going to Houston. What do you really need a car for your freshman year? Not only most kids don't come to Houston with their cars. My friends are not bringing their cars. It's because kids are going to use you for your car. You're going to get it. Also, it's not ideal, because you're going to be paying that car note. You're going to have to work to pay that car note in college. You're going to have to take these friends for rides. You're going to have to worry about paying for the
gas.
The garage there is like $800 a semester. So it's like, leave your car in the open, then it gets stolen. Stealing is bad in Houston. So I was just like, okay, maybe I just got saved. So then they were like, okay, now when you move into your apartment in your second year, then it's realistic. You're going to start working your hospital job. You can have the car you want. So I was just like, obviously it brought me down. But then it's like, now I'm so grateful. I would not be able to pay that much every month.
For sure.
Right now. And then obviously me and my mom share a car, which I'm so grateful for her. She doesn't have to do that. So that's what we do. And it works perfectly fine for me. I get to work. I get to where I need to go. I'm able to hang out with my friends. And I'm not paying a car note every month.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely that.
I'm so glad that you were able to look back and see that.
Yeah. No, at that moment, I was standing in the vent. I was throwing a fit.
And I gotta say, that's a good car, by the way. You won. It's it's a good one. I'm sure you're gonna get it in his own time. Yeah, I also had dreams. I also had dreams and goals about this particular car, but sometimes money is not
I
It
know.
is too
I
expensive. So
know. And I know when I went to Africa,
Yeah.
and when we did go visit in 2017, I think it was, all my friends were like, well, my cousins and stuff, they were like, oh, you guys probably have everything in America, da da da,
Oh,
this
that's
and
what
this.
they think.
I don't have
That's
that
what they
kind of.
think.
I don't got that
Yes,
kid.
no, I don't have that either. No,
That's what
yes.
they think.
I know.
I think somebody had mentioned, I think you mentioned that
Uh,
once you turn 16 years old here, your
yeah.
first birthday gift has to be a car.
Well, most people
Some
get
people,
culture.
some people
yeah.
get like
Yeah.
your
See,
16th birthday,
16.
16.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
they definitely have here. They definitely make huge deals of your 16th, your
Yep.
18th, and your 21st birthday.
Mhm.
They make the biggest deals. And I know, like in my friends that are Latina, they have their quinceañeras, and
Mhm.
that's when they get all these gifts, and it's a big culture shock because you're like, wow,
Mhm.
whoa,
Mhm.
and I remember when we also kind of bringing it back again is when we did visit, like we had came to my cousins when we went, my dad's side lives in Dondori, so we had went to
Mhm.
Dondori and we had a rental van, and it was our first time seeing a car, and it was like, I was like, I'm so grateful, like that's like a shift. I would never be ungrateful again. I would never talk back again
For
because
sure.
and it's
Yeah.
like it was definitely a big thing. So
Yeah.
Wow.
She doesn't know Dondori. I know
Yeah,
Dondori.
she
I
said
love
Dondori.
Dondori. It's cold.
It's
cold.
I remember
cold.
you've been there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to
Dondori.
school there, so
Oh wow.
yeah.
It's
Okay. Speaking
freezing.
about that, you spoke about like a gifting and like 16, 21 stuff like that. Um. So okay. Oh yeah. My question is this. So on your graduation, high school graduation, you had an amazing
Oh,
like
I
a
had an
party.
amazing, it's
Such a
amazing.
huge turnout.
Oh
Definitely
yeah.
a fun favorite for
Mhm.
sure. A
Mhm.
lot of people rallied up to support you, and even remember your brother's graduation also.
Oh
It was
yeah.
There was
yeah.
a lot of people celebrating
Mhm.
you. Um, Back in Kenya, this here and there, you get the hey, congratulations, Mama Lisa,
Really?
hey, good
Yeah.
job,
Oh, good job.
talk about that daddy, and
Good
then
luck with
just like
even the
that.
Really?
congratulations
Yeah, but I like
messages.
how listen. I was a valedictorian. All right, of my school. I didn't get
Oh,
jack,
what?
nothing. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I
just like,
did not
oh,
know
cool. So you
that.
got that? Okay, now get the next thing.
Oh
Yeah.
So
my
There's
basically,
no
once you're
gosh.
like
done like one step,
celebrations. Mm-mm.
none of that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So I like how like the culture here, people like celebrate their kids
Oh
when they
yeah. Oh
get
yeah.
through
A
the
whole bunch.
milestones.
Mhm.
I mean, it's incredibly important. I think it just
Yeah.
gives you motivation
It does. Oh, to
to
keep
To
on
keep
going,
going.
because
Oh
like
yeah.
I know my dad, my brother's for his high school graduation, he had got like a venue and he had all these people come, and I was like, I can't wait till that's me. And then
Uh-huh.
like my high school, he was like, okay, well you have to work hard, you have to da da da. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get there because the gifts guys are great. Thank y'all, by the way. The gifts are great when you come to graduation.
Yeah.
So it's definitely shows you how to support, and especially when you walk that stage.
Mhm.
Because first off, our graduation, they like our walk is so prepared for, like they made us come for a whole week of practice just to walk the
wow.
stage.
Mhm.
I'm talking we practiced from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
how just to walk the stage
Wow.
because it's
It's
thousands and
big.
thousands of
Yep.
people at our HEB center. It can fill millions, so they had
Yep.
thousands of people come watch us walk.
Yeah.
And it's like they hand you your diploma, you say hi to all the district people, all the principals, and it's like it's a big thing here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I like how they do that.
They do it.
Honestly, it
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
gives you. Okay, let me. I have another question. Actually, about college prep and stuff. So there's something I noticed about like you and some of the classes you're taking. Because when you finished, when you graduated high school, you had your MA, right? You had
Yes,
your
yes,
MA course done
That is medical
in medical
medical
assisting,
assistant.
right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And also, you mentioned that you took some sports medicine
Yes,
classes.
yes. I took 4 years of sports medicine.
And then also, you mentioned that you're in the health club and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I was an officer for that.
So it looks like you already knew the trajectory of where you wanted to
Oh
go
yeah.
because you ended up doing, you're doing nursing,
Nursing,
pre-nursing.
yes, yes.
So basically, all the things you took, it's kind of like you had an
It's a
idea.
setup, yeah. So, when you the thing about high school and here they make you choose an endorsement pathway. So you're
Mm.
forced to choose like
Mhm.
and now they changed it to where you have to stick to it. During my year, you were able to change,
Mhm.
but now you go into high school with a set pathway of either
Mhm.
engineering,
Mhm.
or medical or
Mhm.
veterinary medicine.
Mhm.
Because I know I did both veterinary medicine and
Mhm.
regular medicine
Mhm.
my high school year, but you can't do
Mhm.
that anymore.
Mhm.
So they kind of force you to set up a way just so that when you go to college, you're able to either like take the prerequisites,
Yeah.
or you're able to have some knowledge, so you're not kind of going in blind. But yeah, I definitely took all the classes I could to get me with
Mhm.
that medical pathway. I really
Yeah.
took sports medicine just so I could be working with medicine while as an extracurricular. I joined the health club so it could lead me to the medical pathway. So everything I did was to kind of set me up. So now when I write my resumes or when I write my college application, it's like, oh, you already did this, you already did this, you're perfect for it. Because your college only accepts you because of what the kind of the degree or major that they choose for, like that you chose. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. Like, yeah, you kind of get what I mean. So like they accept you for a certain major. They don't just accept you as a person. I mean, yes, that is, but they accept you for that major. So if you come and you're like, your essay's about mental health or anything like that, they're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna accept you, but you're gonna be in a psych major. And so now the major changing process is a whole different thing. And so now you're gonna have to change your major, and you have to be able to still be like kind of accepted for that new major. So you have to apply for that. Yeah, which I didn't know. But I learned when I was going there. Yeah.
Okay, and how did you choose? How did you choose University of Houston, which I'm a huge fan of, by the way?
No, so I was stuck on like A&M, and I had like this little kid thing of me was like, because I wanted to be a vet, so it was like, oh, Ashton and Buddha Chart. I thought it meant A&M, like A N and M, which it doesn't. And so I was like stuck on this college, and I had this fantasy about it. And then you actually started doing college visits, and you start learning about what each college excels in. And so, like my brother, he went to UTSA, and that excels in cybersecurity, so that's why his main goal was going there. So my options were like UNT, or like I can go to U of H, or I was gonna go to I think those were my main two options. And I obviously going too far from home wasn't my main goal, but it was like I went to go visit U of H, and I fell in love with the campus immediately. I looked into their medical program, and they have a great medical program. It's also one of the biggest medical programs in Texas, and it's also the top. I don't know if it's the third biggest college in Texas. So it's also super diverse. So here they have opportunities for you to go to like HBCUs, which are predominantly Black people colleges. And I found myself, I wanted to be with people, not just, obviously it's great being with people of your color, but I wanted to be in the most diverse part I could be, and U of H is the most diverse college in Texas. So it was a great opportunity, and I was like, okay, let me apply, because it's hard to get into. So let me apply, let me see if I can get in. And if I can get in, that's what I want to go for. And so I got in luckily with my two best friends, surprisingly.
Wow.
When my one best friend was also doing pre-nursing, and then my other friend, she didn't get in, but she appealed, which the good thing about college is you can appeal for like, okay, why did I not get in, but this is why I should be in. And so she did that. So now we're all three going there together, which is I'm so fortunate.
That's amazing. Because he has such a great history. And also the alumni. It's incredible lineup for sure. I think
why was it important for you to choose a diverse college or university?
So the big thing about colleges here are like who you're around, the environment you're around makes up your college. So our college of U of H, it has so many diverse people, so it allows you to learn so many different things because you're learning about everybody from every different race, every different culture. And it's also like some schools you have to watch out for because they're big party schools. Like you go to this college, but it's like most people are going there for the parties, or they're going there for the people. And it's like, not that HBCUs are kind of like just that, but they're big on like representing their school, not as big on academics. And so I realized that the diversity of U of H was like, okay, I'm going to a school that has a balance of social life, but it also has a balance of like everybody learning from everybody. And it's good to be around people who don't look just like you. It's always a great experience. It's not for everybody. Then again, I'm not downing HBCUs. They're great schools. But it was just for me, and also it's very close to schools like TSU or PB, or it's in a good area, so it's not too far. And also with the nursing program, you're not gonna it depends if you even graduate from that school. So like they have different off campuses. So I know one of the another nursing programs that's really good was Texas State, but then after my 2 years of there, I'd have to come back to Round Rock and I'd have to go to nursing school there. And I really just wanted to get that full college experience and kind of if I'm paying for it, might as well get the full thing.
Exactly.
So that's why.
Talk to us about extracurricular activities. I was telling him every day I'm driving to work around 7:30. I meet in Leander High School. I meet a lot of students. Doing. I don't think it's. I think it's jogging.
They're
doing soccer in the morning. Is it an option or is it a must?
So we're actually given the opportunity to make our own club. So I know that I'm part of a club that was like that we made, like it was like the People of Color Club, and it was like invited anybody of color, and we did things that kind of represented people of color in our school. So there's clubs that people can make, and you actually, it just gives you an outlook, like and everybody's welcome. And there's also clubs where it's like you're kind of chosen to get into, like the National Honor Society is another club which they have to choose you to get into. And then also you have the, like, not even necessarily clubs, but people who just like, okay, let's all meet up, all the seniors, let's meet up and let's do this. Like we have senior sunrise where everybody would meet up really early in the morning and watch the sunrise. We have a lot of things that like kind of, there's a place for everybody, you know. So that's probably what you're seeing. It's probably a lot of, or just friends meeting up to
like
hang out
every day. I'm like, is that what you do? Like, because I remember in Kenya we used to have such, but it was just kind of a warm up before a lesson. So yeah, that's good. Well, yes, you have more questions?
No,
Ashley?
man.
Really?
I mean, I have so many questions, but yeah, I mean, I have so many questions, but like the most,
it's good,
like the most things that I was curious about, I was able to like ask
at
them,
least,
and I feel like I've quenched that, you know, because
Yeah.
I mean, because we have kids here. Like my daughter came pretty much the same age as you, you know, and she's going through that, you know, like so just seeing how you know you're able to go through that and how you've turned out, how your brothers turned out, just gives us so much confidence. You know, like that we can actually, this is how it can be. It's really possible to raise kids in America and for them actually turning out good. You know, so you guys are just a testament of what's possible. Yep.
Actually, let me take you back. You talked about when you guys moved here, you and your parents and your brother, and you talked about someone hosting you. Can you please talk about that? Because a lot of us who move from Africa to here or from different countries to here, we expect a lot. We expect like we're gonna get a house, we're gonna like But I know like it's a lot that you need to do before.
It is. So yeah, when we did come here, it was actually, and I'm still in contact with them till this day. They treat me like their daughter, and I love them. But yeah, it was actually like a white family who had came to Africa on a mission trip, and they had met my dad at church, and so they became really good friends, and they were kind enough to host us when we did come. We stayed with them for quite a while actually. I don't remember the exact years, but I know that they had siblings as well. My brother's still best friends with them, and I'm still best friends with them. It was normal to me. So for me, it was like, since I was so young, I didn't come in like, oh, what is this? Like we don't have our own anything. It wasn't until I was older until I was like, oh, like we really didn't, you know. And I know it was probably harder for my parents because they want to come here, they want to build their own, they want to give their kids their own home, their own, you know. And but it was really good to kind of put that to the side, and we're able to live with this family and give us the best they could, even when they were relying on someone else as well. But yeah, they taught us a lot of things because, like I said, we didn't have, you know, that backboard to coming here. You have to learn about, you know, you have to start off with you have to build your own credit score, you have to get a job, you have to, because you can't just buy a house when you want to buy a house, you know. It's a lot to come from. So yeah, I didn't think of it as anything until now. I'm just like, wow, like they really helped us out, and yet you have to be so grateful for people like that because you don't meet them every day. And and I also remember like they taught me values sometimes my parents couldn't either because they were used to it. They were this is what they did, and they brought me into their home with welcoming arms, all of us, and it was a great experience, and I wouldn't change it. And we still keep in contact, and we give back to them when we can because they gave so much to us. And
the reason as to why I felt like that was important for you to mention is like I know you came here at your young age, at a very young age, but I'm sure your parents have shared some of the struggles that they had to go through, and that happens to everyone who moves from a different country to here, trying to navigate life, and especially for us parents. And from my own experience, like moving from Kenya to here, my husband was here already, but like I had a lot of expectations. I thought like I am coming from Kenya as a teacher, you know, and I thought I was gonna just come in and get in the system and just, you know, go through life. But there's just a lot that you have to learn. There's just a lot that you have to navigate. And I just saw it good, like you know, mentioning that to a lot of people who are looking forward to, like, you know, move over here. Not to have like, there's so many things that we have in mind, and we think that, oh, you know, it's just a bed of roses. But
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I
Yeah.
think also it's important that you talked a little bit about like host families, because even the people who are coming migrating from Kenya to here,
Mm-hmm.
they're looking for like host families
Yeah,
also.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then how the your host family was able to to have such a huge impact on you. I
Exactly.
think it would just motivates a lot of people who
It
decides to
does.
embark on like taking people in, just to to have in mind that this is such a huge like pretty much it's kind of like a responsibility of helping new families coming here to like like pretty much assimilate or
Yeah.
get into knowing the system here. It's such a huge responsibility,
Yeah.
so being kind, being patient with them, and showing them the way, just holding their hands as
Yeah.
they're trying
Yes,
to
it's
like
very
get into the
important.
system
Yeah.
is very important.
It is
You
because
guys were lucky enough to get
no,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people come. A lot of Africans have pride, guys. Yeah,
for
there's a
sure.
lot of pride. So coming in, it's always a different change when you have to kind of really rely on other people.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the fact that they were able to do that and able to do that was
To
great.
yeah, to
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
you guys. And
So yeah,
as we wind up, talk about school zoning really quick.
Okay.
Yeah, because I realized we just moved from Austin to Leander,
Mhm.
and of course Janelle cannot continue with the
Yeah.
North Austin school.
Yeah.
We had to move her to a school closer to Leander,
Mhm.
right? So why is that important? Like, how does
Yeah,
that
that is
happen?
very important. So school zoning works as like, let's say you have, so all schools can be like 5-10 minutes away from there, but you just can't be zoned to that school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like wherever your residency is at,
Mm-hmm.
that's the school closest to you or the school zone for
Mm-hmm.
you is the
Mm-hmm.
school you have to go to.
Yeah.
And some schools will decline you because you don't live in their school zone, and that's really just on capacity. So some schools are um so we have like 6A and 3A and like 4A kind of like capacity that goes with the population wise in our schools.
Mm-hmm.
So our school just moved up to a 6A, which is the highest. So that's like at the most capacity.
Mhm.
So like, let's say for sports and stuff, you play teams with that much capacity,
Mm-hmm.
or like let's say for academics, you are only compared to teams with that capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just capacity wise. And I know some schools like Henderson High School doesn't let anybody come in there, even if they're zoned.
Yeah.
They have a certain standard, and even though it is a public school and taxes are paying for it,
Mhm.
they have a certain they have a certain thing that you have to fit in
Mhm.
order to go to the school.
Mm.
And so also schools can choose to decline you if you have a background or a bad background. They can choose to be like, oh, we don't want your kid at our school. And sadly, that even though it is a public school,
Yeah,
they can still
that's-
choose to decline you. And then you have to find yourself trying to find a school that may not be in your zone. And then it's like, where do you go to school?
Mhm.
But if you don't go to school, your parents
Yep.
go to
Still,
jail.
it's a
So
problem.
it's like it's
Yeah.
a problem all
Yeah.
around. So that's why I feel like zoning is good and bad. But yeah, that's definitely a thing. And they're constantly building more schools. Like I know in our neighborhood, they just built like 3 more schools all
Mhm.
around us.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I don't know if that could be a good thing or a bad
That's a
thing.
good thing.
But,
Just
yeah.
give a lot of more people
we
options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to experience the same because they
Yeah.
just built a new school
Oh,
for Janelle,
yeah,
so she's
yeah.
gonna be moving from her previous school to the new school, and it's a thing with zoning, you know.
Yeah.
It is.
I was just telling him back in Kenya, where I used to teach, it was a private school, and I remember we had a 3-year-old boy who was in a boarding school from
See?
the age from age 3. Yeah. So I just thought about him, and I was like, yeah, like it's super different, the school system back in Kenya and over here.
Yeah.
2 different things, and that's why like we saw it good having Ashley over. I heard Joseph talk about his experiences, and I'm thinking about some parents who are moving over here with their kids. I'm thinking about teenagers who are moving here, and they are finding it difficult to difficult, especially just to choose what they're gonna go with and all that. So yeah, I saw it good, like just having such kind of conversation. June is always a graduation season, so
parties.
yeah, yeah, and I just felt like, oh, let me have this graduates talk to us about their school life, their insights, their experiences. So someone who is trying to navigate that from Kenya, from different countries, at least they can watch this, and at least I hope they get some
I
insights.
definitely feel like this would have been helpful for like my cousins or whoever had moved here. This video would have been definitely helpful because then you're not finding it kind of for yourself.
Yeah.
Ash, as we finish, Ash, do you have like a word of advice for for let's say people migrating here with their kids, especially maybe your age group, and even maybe younger or older? Do you have any
Or
word
other
of advice?
students?
No, yeah, I can definitely speak more on kids my age or even younger than me. It's definitely come with an open mind. Don't come with a closed expectation. Don't come deciding, oh, I'm not going to speak to anybody. No one's going to like me. Even if there's a language barrier, I know a lot of people come with a language barrier, and that is not something that's going to stop you. People are willing to learn. People are willing to be kind to you, take the time with you, the patience, and I know that with your language barrier, if you do have a language barrier, it can sometimes affect how if you're wanting to speak to people, go for it. Yeah. Make those friends, make those connections, join those clubs, be in those groups. Give everybody a chance, just like you want to be given a chance. And I just really say insert yourself in your community. Like if you're not moving to Austin or anywhere, just find a Kenyan community, find a Kenyan group. Don't lose track of where you came from. And that's my biggest word of advice.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah. So also,
Something.
go ahead.
Oh yeah, something we always do with our guests, and especially now for you.
Yes.
I want you to talk to your family, and
Okay.
let's start with Ronix.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know he's gonna watch this.
No, Ronix was I definitely feel for those who don't have siblings, because without Ronix, he paved the pathway with my parents, truly. Like, my parents would probably be a lot more strict, a lot more, not open to ideas if it wasn't for Ronix kind of paving that pathway. Because in America, you come and you want to protect your children. You want to keep them away from everything, no social media, no anything, no going out with friends. My brother really kind of opens their minds because he's able to speak to them more than I am. He taught me what I'm kind of trying to teach you guys. The advice, he gave it to me. Obviously, there was moments where we butt heads, and we are 5 years apart, so you'd think we wouldn't be that close. But I feel like right now we are at our closest. I love him. He's never not by my side. Like, when he went to college, that was probably the hardest for me, because now I'm the only child in the house, and my parents were like, okay, who are we gonna yell at to clean the house now? It was me. But he was always a call away. He was always willing to come home for his family. He never just abandoned us, and I really appreciate him. He has great things going for his life. He has a strong head on his shoulders, and he's one of the best people I ever met in my life. For sure. Yeah.
Well,
Mom, oh my gosh, I love mom. She's a strong woman. I know it was so hard for her, because when she came in, like you said, the careers are different. So, like, she was this in Kenya, but when she had to come back, she was starting fresh. She had to go all the way back to school. She had to do all those steps recurring, and it kind of put her down. And also, she's
being a mom.
Yeah, and especially with being a mom who wants to only see the best for your kids. And it was very hard for her. And also, she wanted to support my dad in his pastor career, but also with what he was doing. And so it was her kind of finding that balance that really, she's the reason really where I even wanted to join the medical field, is because she moved us all the way for something that she believes in, and also my dad as well. But it's like she always found her way to communicate her feelings and communicate how she felt when she would always tell me, like, oh, I go to work and they kind of try to put me down for how I sound or how I look, and she always tell me, she always spoke up. She never let people belittle her, but she also had manners, and she always taught me, like, how to be not necessarily ladylike, but ladylike. Like, do this and do this, so when people see you, they know, oh, this is Ashley. She's a good kid. She does this. She looks out for herself. And she always taught me, she's always never been the lazy type. If she's not cooking, she's cleaning. If she's not doing any of that, she's working. And then when she does get her rest time, she obviously takes it. But she definitely, I definitely look up to her as well.
Great. Now let's talk to our pastor, your dad.
My pastor. No, I feel like me and my dad connect the most. I've always been a daddy's girl. I love my mom to bits, but I've always been a daddy's girl. We're the most alike. We're both talkative. We're both outgoing. I think I truly am gonna miss him so much when I go to college. Like, we're always talking. I really look up to him because I know there was like times when he was the only one working and my mom was at home with us, and where he was the one, like, he handles the finances at the house. He kind of like, okay, we're spending money on this and we're doing this. He has not looked out for us. He's always made sure we've had the best. And even when he doesn't show his emotions a lot, but I just know even when he's hurting or when he's in a bad mood, he never reflects on us. He never unnecessarily yells at us. Like, there's always a reason behind what he has. And he has a whole bunch of love for our family. and he's also just a very compassionate person. Like for our church, he treats them like family. He never wants to see anybody down. If it's something that somebody needs, he'll call people from Dallas and it's like, okay, we need this for this person here, or they need to come here. And he'll even, like, I remember one of my friends, I always remember this, I had just made friends with her senior year, actually, or junior year, and her mom and her family were having trouble finding a home, and he didn't even know them as well. And so he took the time and he found them a place to stay, actually, with someone at church. And I just think I always will remember that. And I just think that's a great characteristic to have. So yeah, that's someone I definitely feel like I connect the most with. And yeah.
Okay, Chade, you have any?
Yeah, no, I mean, she just mentioned, like, when you mentioned your dad, honestly, like, you painted that picture so well.
Yeah.
Your dad has such a big heart. He honestly loves everybody, and I mean, the way we came here from Virginia, we moved here, like, he took us into the church. He showed us, like, this is where I do, this is where we shop. This is he introduced us to people. I mean, he's an incredible person, and it's just such a blessing that I get to call him my pastor, and actually even more so my friend. I talked to him, and I was just telling him how incredible he's done with you guys. Just raising two, like, amazing kids. Ronix is usually the first person in church.
Oh yeah, he's
like
church life.
I mean, him usually, like, one of the last person to come out of it. And you're doing an incredible job with the kids in the Sunday school. You're teaching even through COVID. You were teaching, like, Bible study and stuff like that. So your parents have done such an incredible job, and I make it very intentional of giving you guys flowers. Very intentionally about that, because you're doing amazing, and you're just giving us so much hope, raising our kids, and in hopes that they're gonna turn out, like, just like you, even better. Just to aspire on big and better things. You guys are getting it, and I just want to commend you guys for that. For sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ashley, first of all, for making your time to come over, have this conversation. And secondly, like, I am so proud of you. For sure. I'm so proud of you. Not even like education wise, even like just being you, like, there's a lot that I have seen in you, there's a lot that I have heard from you, there's a lot that I have learned, in teaching in Sunday school and everything. Like, I always feel so encouraged. I was telling Pastor the other day in church that I see myself and Shadi coming for classes on how to, be able to, try and help our kids as they grow up, and especially in America, it can be tough.
For sure.
They've done a very great job, and we're so proud of you. We wish you all the best going to university. Yeah, and we're looking forward to. I know you're gonna be visiting. So,
definitely. I can't go without not coming home.
I know you're gonna be visiting. You said you're gonna be having like classes for how many days a week again?
So I have classes from Monday to Thursday, and then after that I have that weekend. I'll be able to. If I need to come home, I'll come home.
Yeah, come visit your family.
Yes.
Yeah, Chad, you wanna finish up?
Well, other than saying, people should watch out for maybe 2028 when she graduates nursing school. And then she's gonna make an amazing nurse practitioner. I can see that. You join the gang, I think you're gonna be incredible. Just to finish up, thank you guys for watching this episode. It's a little bit different from the usual one, but hopefully you guys were entertained. You learned something from her and from us in general. It's such a pleasure sharing our story with you guys and the friend stories. You guys have been a good place to air out these kind of things, and thank you for the support and everything you keep on doing, and recommending us, sharing our videos in your friends group and stuff like that. Thank you so much, and it's just an honor, honestly, to present to you guys.
Well, thank you guys. And she just reminded me something. I'm gonna ask Ashley. You're gonna be in school for 4 years.
4 or 6 years,
4 6 years, So after all those years, I am sure you're gonna. I want you to come back and watch this video, right?
I definitely will. Like, this is me.
So right now, I want you to talk to Ashley. I know you have goals, you have like everything you wish yourself for. So I would really love for you to talk to Ashley, because after 6 years, I'm going to remind you. 4 6 years, I'm going to remind you about, and this video is going to remind you of who you are here now and who you're going to be.
This is a tricky one. I definitely hope you didn't lose yourself, because I know people go into college and they come out completely different. I want you to grow as a person. I hope you've grown, learned new values, got even closer to God, been able to spread his word throughout your college experience, but also never lost thought of the young kid in you. Don't try to grow up too fast. Don't try to be away from home too much. Remember how much your parents love you, no matter how much or how many times they may yell at you or argue with you. Take value in those times. Also, take value in today. Don't you think a lot ahead? So take value in the day. Take value in what you're experiencing because it is a blessing. Not everybody can experience it. And never lose sight of your goals. Be goal driven. Be determined. Shine. Stand out from people. Don't blend into the crowd. Do what everybody else is doing. It's so easy to do that. So just be different. Continue to be you, but grow. Yes, that is my advice. So I hope I'll talk to myself.
Get it, girl.
You got it. Yeah. And all we can do is wish you all well, and you are in our prayers. Always, like as a Christian girl, like always remember God is with you in everything that you do, and we wish you all the best in your college life. Yes. Okay. That's all for today. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you soon then.
Yeah. See you soon then.